The Prius Prime is a plug-in hybrid, and I'm going to show you why this might be the perfect electrified vehicle for you. I'm not just going to tell you why, I'm going to show you why. You've probably heard that Toyota's 5th generation Prius is sexy now. Even sexier, it comes as a Prime, Toyota speak for plug-in hybrid. As more automobiles electrify, plug-ins have become controversial. Automobiles are tools, and like hammers and drills, their effectiveness depends on how they're used. The pros for plug-in hybrids are, most daily driving can be done on electrons, and in a pinch, they don't need to be charged at all, just switch to gas, all but eliminating range anxiety. The cons? Well, there's the added complexity of a gas powertrain over an EV, plus the belief that owners get complacent and seldom charge them. Also, some PHEVs are less efficient than their ICE counterparts when running on gasoline only. The EPA rates the all-electric range of the Prius Prime at up to 44 miles. It depends on the model, and that means you can significantly slash your gasoline consumption. And yeah, electricity isn't free, but typically it's significantly less expensive than dinosaur juice. And let's look at the big picture. And these are conservative numbers. If you charge every night and drive every day, it's over 12,000 miles of all-electric range annually. It all adds up. Toyota has dropped off a top-spec XSE Premium dipped in cutting-edge paint. That's the color. It's not like it makes the car more aerodynamic. With the $2,245 advanced technology package, the total comes to $42,500, including freight. That option package includes a solar roof that helps run accessories like the HVAC system. Owners can gauge its effectiveness here. Motor Trend figures it generates around 4 miles of range parked all day in the Los Angeles sun. That efficiency disappears in a garage, and it eliminates the sunroof. Standard Prius hybrids can be had with all-wheel drive. Prime is strictly front drive. Prime moves with a 2-liter 4-cylinder making 150 horsepower and an electric drive motor good for 161. In total, there's 220 horses. The two figures aren't just added together. The 13.6 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion pack under here adds 350 pounds, or 159 kilos, to the standard Prius's weight. Prime cannot be DC fast charged. My personal situation is a great example of how plug-in hybrids can work for a lot of people. My breaker is like 30 feet away from where I park, and my garage is concrete and set into the side of a hill. So running level 2 charging out here would be very, very expensive. I juice up my plug-in hybrids using 120 currents. And even if I don't get a full charge overnight, the gas engine always has my back. But typically, almost all of my driving is done on electricity, to the point where if I buy gas, generally it's half and quarter tanks because I don't want the fuel to get old. Back to the powertrain. The transmission is an eCVT. Add regen by pulling back a second time. It's not full one-pedal driving though. Prime's extra power easily compensates for the added torque. Drive modes include a pure EV setting and an automatic hybrid mode. A hold setting saves the battery level for use later. In EV mode, even if you floor the throttle, the gas engine does not kick on. And in that mode, the numbers would suggest that the Prime is kind of pokey. 0 to 60 in around 11 seconds. But in city driving, it feels perfectly powerful because, electric motors, lots of low-end torque. If you want the security blanket of instant power when you need it, put it into auto mode. That way, when you mash the go pedal, the gas engine kicks on. Great for freeway merging. With gas and electric teaming up, Prime will hit the 60-mile-an-hour benchmark in just under 7 seconds. The EPA rates the all-electric range of this Prime at 39 miles. I am actually doing better. Yeah, I've charged this up twice, and I'm getting about 42. Now keep in mind that temperatures are ideal around 72 degrees. This is city driving, and there hasn't been any rain. Yeah, rain adds drag. It shortens range. EV ranges are getting longer, but still, in some places, especially rural areas, there's little to no charging infrastructure. And I promised my wife I'd take a day off to hit up Bow-Edison. It's an arts community in Washington State, 2 towns actually, Bow and Edison. On the 85-mile drive there, we use up the battery first. Unlike gasoline-powered cars, electric vehicles are less efficient at highway speeds. And I'm seeing about 36 miles of electric range with this. That's pretty good. And the Prime switches to standard hybrid mode, no fuss, no muss. The EPA rates the XSE's gas-only efficiency at an average of 48 miles per gallon, with a range of 600 miles. It loses 4 mpg to a comparable Prius hybrid. Not bad. Toyota's standard suite of ADAS technology is dubbed Toyota Safety Sense 3.0. It's pretty good. I've been using the adaptive cruise for the last 15 miles. It's very smooth, and the lane tracing is very good. I can keep my hands off the wheel for about 10 seconds, and it tracks perfectly straight and takes gentle curves, but it does want your hands on the wheel eventually. It's no Blue Cruise, it's no Super Cruise. All Primes get traffic jam assist. That takes over steering, braking, and throttle under 25 miles an hour, but traffic is light and it's not needed. We reach Bow-Edison quickly. There are some excellent galleries, restaurants, and shops. If you plan on visiting, though, don't come on Tuesday. It kind of closes up. Probably should have planned better, but we're here. This place is serving, and worth the drive. Great food, nice views, and some cookies for the road. There are no commercial stations in this area, very common once off main highways, another reason why PHEVs work best in rural areas. The closest charger is back 16 miles, and we're traveling the opposite way, where there are even fewer options. We're heading off to Padilla Bay for a hike. On the way, I realize this has a digital mirror. Those help when cargo is loaded to the roof. Our walk is more relaxing because there's no worrying about the battery's state of charge. Round trip, our excursion eats up 220 miles, and true, most EVs can tackle that these days. But on long road trips covering 300 to 400 miles and more, plug-in hybrids shine. So to hammer this issue home, we're in the middle of nowhere, and if you're traveling with an EV, and you haven't planned ahead, it could be the very definition of range anxiety. Now, if you live in this area and you're charged at home, well, then that's not an issue. But for us, the plug-in hybrid is working really, really well. Not only are there gas stations everywhere, ironically, there's a fuel refinery across the water. All right, let's get back to everyday driving. This is a pretty nice neighborhood, but the streets could be better. Still, this is a comfortable car, and it's a quiet car, and it handles well now. You just can't make those jokes about Prius anymore. Not only does it drive better these days, it's much more attractive. The windshield has the slope of a Lamborghini. That's not an exaggeration. I'm 5'9", and sometimes a steeply raked A-pillar can block my visibility, but this is kind of thin and there is a window here, so it's not bad. Other than the slit of a back window, visibility out of the new Prius is actually pretty good. My petite spouse at 5 feet even does not share my view, no pun intended. For her, the A-pillar significantly blocks her sightline to the left. Test drive, see how it works for you. And FYI, charging nearly every night, I used only 3 gallons of gas in a week, most of it on the road trip to Bow-Edison. The Prime's cabin looks much the same as the standard Prius hybrid, but adds crimson and brick-hued trim, Leather is not a thing in the Prime. This is cowless hide, or what Toyota calls Softex. These are heated and vented. The driver's chair is powered, the passenger's is not. The controversial instrument cluster is in the same path as a head-up display, viewed above the wheel, not through it. My biggest issue is the small typeface that can be hard to read. Again, it's why test driving is so important. The wheel, heated on this XSE Premium, is smallish with lots of buttons. I suggest checking for headroom when looking at any Prius, especially you tall folks. Door panels, those are kind of blah, and there's not much storage in them. Loads of USB ports, though. Here's an interesting safety feature. If I open the door with a car coming from behind,
watch for traffic.
It warns me. Toyota's new interface is largely built on using natural voice commands and requires a data plan once the complimentary trial expires. Hey Toyota.
What do you want to do?
Is there any sushi nearby? There are some hard buttons. Not everything is done on the screen. Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are wireless. There's phone charging too. I like the slip-in design. Unfortunately, it's fussy with my iPhone 13 Pro. Positioning has to be just right. The upgraded JBL system is the best that can be had in any Prius. It's good, not awesome. Take a look around the car and you will find Easter eggs. Not just one or two, they're all over the place, even in the engine bay. Obviously, Toyota is very serious about rehabbing Prius's image. One gripe with this generation Prius is the sleek styling reduces rear headroom. I'm 5'9" and I have just, and I do mean just enough of that. Also, the sloping roofline means you kind of have to duck to get in and out without bumping your head. So if you're an Uber driver thinking about pressing one of these into service, at least warn your passengers, huh? The cushions, those are comfortable enough. There's storage in the doors. It is on the small side though, and not sure if it's because the front seats are ventilated, but footroom is kind of tight. Plenty of ways to charge up electronics, and this is the fancy model. So there are heated seats back here, yes. There's a pocket on the passenger seat back, but not on the driver's. I don't know why manufacturers cheap out on that. The bench is wide enough so that 3 adults can squeeze in here if they're average in size. But for comfort, I would keep it to 2. And remember, watch your head. Much has been said about Toyota's use of the word electrified in its marketing. Personally, I feel it's stretching the term when applied to the standard hybrid, but appropriate for Prime. And in defending its hybrid strategy, the Big T says it can make 90 Corolla Cross hybrids or 7 Prius Primes with the materials used in one pure electric vehicle. However, those calculations use a 100 kilowatt-hour pack. Popular EVs like EV6, Ioniq 5 and 6, or Tesla Model 3 average closer to 80 kilowatt-hours. So Toyota's math is optimistic. And let me get up onto my soapbox here. I'd be more on board with Toyota's hybrid strategy if it used the technology for efficiency in all of its models and produced plug-in hybrids in significant numbers. As it stands now, it's tough to find Prime vehicles, and they often sell at premium prices. Yes, I have profiled both the regular Prius and the Prime before, but always at events, and I can't do the TP trunk test there. And I was curious because the trunk is smaller than the previous generation. FYI, both powertrains have the same cargo space, just over 20 cubic feet with the seats up. That's 4 packs of softness and absorbency, the same as the 4th generation Prime. The foldable security shade is easy to take along. It doesn't need to be left in the garage. There's a little less space under here than the standard hybrid, which has a storage system. Still, there's a place for the mobile charge cord. Now, typically, I don't do the TP test with the seats down, but what the heck, let's go for the bonus round. I can't understand why Toyota's spec sheet says dropping the backs only adds around 6 cubic feet of space. It's obviously more than that. The 2-ply proves it. The Prime swallows up a dozen, even if it doesn't look pretty. And here's something cool. Go to shut the hatch, and it'll wait for you until you get out of the way. It's nothing if not polite, right? And here's a good opportunity for me to show you that yes, the hatch does indeed shut. It's part of the test. Closing out with red light, green light. Green light? Plug-in hybrids are perfect for those wary of a pure EV, and Prime's electric range makes it worth considering. Their sexy Prius design, yes, it's true. The performance and driving dynamics are a cut above what many expect, a pleasant surprise. It's packed with active electronic safety tech and can be had with fun stuff like the solar roof. Good for conversation if nothing else. Yellow lights? The swoopy styling reduces cabin and cargo space compared to Generation 4. The gauge cluster is polarizing, plain and simple. Toyota's new interface works well, but it requires a subscription for full functionality. Red light. All-wheel drive is not available on Prime. Pro tip, snow tires work miracles. Limited numbers of these will be produced. That leads to second stickers at dealerships, if you can even find one. Finally, and this is geared towards owners, for best efficiency, it needs to be plugged in. Don't be lazy. But then again, that's the beauty of PHEVs. Even when not juiced up, they won't leave people stranded. Unlike EVs, they do require maintenance on the gas powertrain, like oil changes, though since the engine doesn't get used as often, it tends to be reduced significantly. Plug-in hybrids. They are very flexible, electricity when you want it, gas when you need it, but you really do need to plug it in to slash your gas costs, right? And there is the argument that these are just dragging around a heavy gasoline engine. I don't buy that argument, because if you look at the weight of a 300-mile range EV, it's a lot more than this, right? And you're seldom tapping into the potential of that battery on a daily basis. As always, it comes down to this: buy the vehicle that works for your needs. This is an excellent tool to reduce gas consumption. If you can find a Prius Prime, it's a stylish and stress-free way to electrify your commute and significantly reduce trips to the gas station. For you hypermilers out there, there's an optional package awkwardly named Predictive Efficient Drive with Predictive Deceleration Support. There'll be a test on that. It analyzes the frequent routes that are driven, mapping consistent braking and stop points. Then it helps to boost efficiency by signaling drivers when to let off the throttle and even intelligently adding recuperation drag. Usually I have Martin Campbell make a brief appearance to thank him for driving duties so I can shoot the running footage. I screwed it up, but thanks anyways, Martin. Also, yes, my lovely but camera-shy wife did come on the trip to Bow-Edison with me. She just hates being in these videos. She was behind me when I was driving on camera, hiding, in case you wondered if I left her someplace. You're pretty hidden. Before I go, just wanted to say special thanks to Costco #1, where it all started. For 20 years now. Can you believe it? 20 years I've been coming down here, grabbing all the TP that I need for free, wheeled it out, stuffed it in, and then brought it back. Yes, I restock it myself. People think I work here. And I kind of figured it out. On average, I do 50 reviews a year, about 7 bundles per vehicle average, and 20 years means 7,000 packs of TP. That's a lot. And if you look at this sign here, 40-year anniversary, that's how long Costco's been around. And something interesting, people that worked here when I started doing this test still work here. Apparently it's a pretty good place to work. Thanks for watching. Remember, subscribe to this channel, click notifications, follow me on social media, and if you've got a question, leave it in the comments, okay? All right, that's Driven. I'm Tom Voelk.